Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host, Paul, aka the world's worst YouTuber, joined by the world's best YouTuber, Cris from 3C Films. How's it going?
Hey, Poopy Doopy. Happy to finally be in your home. None of my audience knows who you are, but, I figured I'd go ahead and throw you a solid and join you here.
Yeah, none of my audience know who I am either, which is really good. So throughout this video, we're going to be talking about the most shocking moments in the comic book series, The Boys, that aren't really going to be in the TV series, or if they are, they're going to be toned down. Now, obviously, there's going to be heavy spoilers here. So if you don't want anything ruined, then get the hell out of here and go and watch one of 3C's amazing mediocre videos. Now, firstly, I just want to talk about Becca's death. This was a massive point in the comics and TV show. It was obviously the way it was the big moment in the finale, I feel, of the season 2, episode 8. And this was actually set up in the first season as well as the comics. Now, in the comic books, Billy Butcher's entire motivation was to basically get revenge for what happened to his wife. We found out that Black Noir actually raped her, and because of this, she had a baby that burst out of her stomach in the middle of the night, and he woke up to see its eyes glowing red and it floating above her corpse with its umbilical cord still attached to her. Pretty nasty. And I actually thought that, I watched basically the first season at a time before I used to binge TV for my YouTube channel, and I really got to take everything in. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh yeah, his wife's dead. This is very much in line with the comics. So at the end of that season, when she came out with the son, I was like, whoa, what's all this about? Now, what's interesting is that the second season actually kind of went back to the status quo in that it had her die at the hands of Homelander's son. So, we are seeing these moments of things sort of riffing on the original source material, but they're doing it in a very, toned down way.
Yeah, I like that change. That it's still responsible for the son and whatnot. I don't think they could have made it work with the baby popping out and stuff like that, because we had to get to know Becca.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a term in comic books called fridging, which is basically where
I've heard. Invent a character for the purpose of just dying.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So it was good that she got some backstory. I really liked her in this season. I thought she did a really good job. And, I think it was a change for the better, but it wasn't as shocking.
No.
We love the gore out here.
Speaking of shocking, going back to like the first season here, one of the most shocking things that happens right away to let you know this ain't your Marvel Cinematic Universe type show. You have Starlight coming in, joining the 7, and then pants drop from the deep, telling her, basically, you want to join, this is what you got to do. In the comics, she had to do almost the whole team, half of them, with Black Noir, Homelander, and I think A-Train. How did you feel about them just bringing it down to just one dick?
Well, she really had to swallow her pride in both instances. I'll cut that out so I don't look like a bad guy.
No.
And yeah, I think, what's interesting about the comics in comparison to the TV show is that the TV show's done a really good job of making these people relatable, and you can kind of see the good side to them almost. There was a brilliant moment in episode 8 where Homelander sat down with Ryan and was just kind of going over what it was like when he was a kid. And in the comics, they don't really have that. Everyone's a bad guy, bar probably the Deep and Starlight and Queen Maeve eventually. But that was a brilliant way in the comics, I feel, of just setting up instantly that these people aren't heroes, and Starlight, if she wants to be in the team, she's gonna have to do a lot of things not nice. And in the TV show, they cut away from it, whereas you even get a point where you just
see some running down her mouth.
Yeah, exactly. And Huey watches it at one point on some CCTV, and it's a lot more graphic. Now, speaking of toning things down, I think they did the same thing with 9/11. Now, in the comics, the heroes are actually responsible for quite a lot of deaths. They kind of do the plane crash scene in the first season, but the comics, basically, they caused the Brooklyn Bridge to be destroyed with a lot of people on it, and they were basically handpicked at the last minute to help out on 9/11 as a PR stunt for Vought, and it just went to hell. They were completely useless. Whereas in the TV show, the plane crash scene, I kind of feel like that, you know, they could have maybe saved the day at some point if they hadn't destroyed the control panel. Whereas the comic, the Deep gets hit by an airplane, and you just realize these guys, they're not doing anything. And one of them runs away as well.
And with some of these scenes, it's not even a situation of it being so graphic. Because I mean, even earlier in the year, we heard that they cut out a major scene that ended up showing up by surprise. In the end of season 2, Homelander just jerking it off to the city, saying he can do whatever he wants. Something like that with the 9/11 scene, that could just be a budgetary thing. Because one thing they've changed in the show that is pretty eventful from the beginning is that the boys have the ability to access superpowers whenever they want through some little vought pills. And they're not doing that here, whether to save on money or the budget of how nasty they get when they actually pummel some of these guys. I know Huey is the first to accidentally kill a supe.
Yeah. And that was really gory as well. But it does feel very toned down. And one of the major things that I remember reading and thinking, ooh, that's a bit far, was when Homelander gets sent photographs of himself basically biting into a screaming baby and ripping out its intestines. I'm probably going to be using this image as a thumbnail, so I'll get demonetized. But I remember reading that and thinking it was absolutely horrendous. And so far, Homelander's not really done anything that extreme, and neither have really any of the 7. I don't think. Black Noir, spoilers for the comics, he's basically revealed as a clone of Homelander. He was the one who bit the baby. And even though, you know, he likes to carry around people's heads, he's still not going to go to this extreme, I don't think. Things
not
like
unless
that.
They have milk.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe he ripped it off a mother that was breastfeeding. We don't know.
That would be something I would like to see.
That would be too far. She just sit and suck it and just grabs it. But the milk is always good. Yeah. So that's
what about one of their first missions that leads into probably what their spin-off show is going to deal with? The first mission the boys ever deal with Huey is they go towards like this Teen Titan group of superheroes, and you see they're just having an orgy party, switching around, and these poor women are just being pummeled and hurt. I don't know if that's something we'll see in the spin-off.
No, and the spin-off's actually rumored to be the G-Men as well, which... They basically a lot of the side teams, bar Capes for Church and Super Duper, I think it is, all of those guys are like sex pests and completely over the top. And some of the sex scenes, especially in that first volume, are very, very taboo. If you go from reading the comic book to the show, you just be like, yeah, this is really, really tame. And I can't see that being included at any point. Now, onto the G-Men themselves, they're basically a parody of the X-Men. And the professor of that school is actually abusing the children, which is really, really messed up. And I think the entire school is basically set up for him to get kids who want to be superheroes so that he can abuse them. And it's so messed up. And they're meant to be doing that as the spin-off show. But I already know from the way that the show's been set up and the series has, that it's not going to be that graphic, and I don't think they'll have any of that really in the series. I think it'll be at most suggested at, but even then I can't see it being as graphic and as black and white as it is in the comics, and which even probably for the best, especially with how Cuties is getting received right now.
Yeah, and even in the comics, it's like every superhero has a sex fixation. I know there's one Tech Knight who like bangs a cup of coffee when his therapist is out of the room, which is like so odd, burns himself. But in this one, they throw in different types of fixations. Like, I mean, Stormfront, for one, was a Nazi who was married to the lead of Vought.
Yeah, exactly. And that was probably more, you know, Stormfront was pretty bad, but compared to how the comic book character was, I would still say she was quite toned down. And there's also recently, when they've been discussing season 3, Eric Kripke, the showrunner, has come out and said that the gay sex scene between Soldier Boy and Homelander won't be in the season either. So I think we are really getting the notion that they're just cutting back all the sex. And especially that first volume was, I remember reading it next to my wife, and I tell you what, she was looking, thinking, what the hell is this guy reading? Can't believe I married him. Anyway, that's the video. Here's the graphic novels, so you know that we read them and didn't just Wikipedia it. If you enjoyed this video, nice little quick one, then please give us a thumbs up. Make sure you go check out Chris's channel. It's a lot better than mine, and it'll keep you. No, it is. It'll keep you up to date on all the movie news, everything you need to know. Whereas I tend to just spend 4 hours talking about a little Easter egg in the background of a scene. So yeah, definitely
I break Paul's balls, but he's got a great channel here. I might call him Poopy Doopy, but that's just because he has a Ferrari, a Tesla, all this big mansion house. This right here is his basement
Funko
room.
Pops. A real life Infinity Gauntlet from the set.
Yeah, guys. But yeah, thank you for having me on, Paul. Really appreciate it. And I gotta have you on my channel soon. But just like a cameo appearance, I'm not giving you a full video.
No, that's fine. And hopefully this wasn't as disappointing for the people who've been wanting this collab for so long. But yeah, go check out 3C Films if you want something else to watch after this. I've just done a season 3 boys breakdown. Yeah, check it out, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.